Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to another of my double reviews. Today's double review, I focus on the two films that Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg made in 2015 and 2017, Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2. Now, I had never seen these films before. I didn't go to the cinema and watch them or anything like that. Now, as much as I am a fan of Will Ferrell, I do like Will Ferrell films, and I don't mind Mark Wahlberg, but I especially do like Mark Wahlberg when he teams up with Will Ferrell. I think they've got some pretty good chemistry. But I just never really fancied these films. However, they've just been shown in the UK on, I think it's Film 4, it might have been E4, something like that. So I thought I would watch them. I watched them with my wife with the thought of I'll do a double review on these two. So yeah, I do hope you enjoy this double review and thank you very much for watching.
Holy Well, you're kind to say that, thank you.
So the first Daddy's Home film was released in 2015 and it stars obviously Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, Linda Cardellini, and it is directed by Sean Anders. Now the film focuses on Will Ferrell's character Brad, who is the stepfather to Mark Wahlberg's kids. He is married to Linda Cardellini, the Will Ferrell character, and he's trying very, very hard to be a really good stepdad, but the kids aren't really accepting him. And then, lo and behold, Dusty, the Mark Wahlberg character, comes back on the scene to essentially try and win back his kids. So what you get really is this battle back and forth between the two characters, the Dusty and the Brad character, each trying to outdo each other, trying to impress not just the kids but the Linda Cardellini character, Sarah. Right. So what are my thoughts on Daddy's Home? Well, this film is exactly what you expect it to be. There are a few moments in this film that will kind of have you kind of really laughing out loud, and these are usually the result of Will Ferrell putting himself in situations that he's just not equipped to deal with. Riding a motorbike, for example, trying to do some skateboarding, so on and so forth. When he puts himself in those situations, it's funny to watch. He's very, very good at that type of comedy, Will Ferrell. But it follows a very, very generic pattern that US comedy movies or family comedy movies tend to put out there. You know what I mean? They're quite sickly. They tick a lot of boxes. Or they're very, very safe, and they don't really take any risks. So I can understand why. Certainly, this one wasn't really what you would describe as critically hailed or anything like that, but obviously it was audience members enjoyed it, which is why we got a sequel, clearly. So it's a very, very charming and watchable comedy film that is elevated obviously by Will Ferrell's comedy sensibilities. You know, he's obviously really, really good at what he does, and as I've mentioned before, the chemistry that we get between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg is magic. I mean, every time they're on screen together, they are very, very good together. And there is some genuine standout moments and laugh out loud moments in this film. But it's not what I would call an unmissable type comedy film or anything like that. It's certainly watchable, and I did enjoy my time with it, which is why I will give the first Daddy's Home a 7 out of 10. Nothing outstanding, but definitely very, very safe, very, very watchable, and certainly funny in parts.
I mean, who wouldn't be impressed with you? Oh, dear God. This is gonna come off weird, Dusty, but he's beautiful.
Why don't you bring the car around?
I'm not the driver. I'm Brad. Stepdad? My dad's coming too. Dad! Red sweater. He wears a red sweater so I can see him in a crowd.
There's my big man!
Now, Daddy's Home 2 was released in 2017, and again it was directed by Sean Anders, and this time thrown into the mix is not just Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, but we get Mel Gibson playing Dusty's dad and John Lithgow playing Brad's dad. A very smart decision to kind of go this direction. Now, as the first one, because the first Daddy's Home film is essentially a Christmas film, but it doesn't kind of shove Christmas down your throat sort of thing. It's just set at Christmas for the most part, and it is a little bit Christmassy, I suppose. But this second one is very Christmassy. It's very Christmassy themed. And the idea with this one is Brad and Dusty have been getting on really, really well since the first film. They are on pretty much best mates, best friends. And then they are going to celebrate an old-fashioned family Christmas together. And coming to this gathering are both Dusty and Brad's dad, Kurt and Don, as I've mentioned, played by Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. So they kind of go away on this retreat sort of thing to have like a Christmas holiday together as a family. And you've got the Mel Gibson character Kurt, who is very brash, intent on kind of rattling the cages and upsetting the apple cart. And then you've got the John Lithgow character Don, who is the sweetest guy, and you've got that balances it out really. So you've got Mel Gibson constantly trying to get the better of not only his son but of the Will Ferrell character as well. And then you've got the John Lithgow character who is on the surface a very, very gentle guy, but underneath he's kind of harbouring a little bit of a family secret in regards to his wife sort of thing that doesn't take you very long to figure out where that's going. So while I do think the idea here is sound and the casting of Mel Gibson and John Lithgow is inspired, really, they're fine in the film. The material here feels tired compared to the first one. There's not nearly as many laughs this time round. I didn't feel. Certainly, I remember laughing out loud 2 or 3 times watching the first one. I don't honestly remember laughing out loud. I think, I don't know what there is. There's a scene where John Lithgow keeps getting whacked in the face by snowballs that was quite funny. So there's a couple of moments that are, will make you chuckle sort of thing. But it just kind of feels like they had a formula but didn't necessarily know what to do with it in this second film. The material is weaker than what we get in the first Daddy's Home film. But I don't think it's a bad film. I do remember it getting a pretty poor reception when it came out, Daddy's Home 2. But I think it's certainly watchable. And if you're looking for 2 pretty watchable and safe Christmas films to watch, these 2 together would complement each other. So I'll give the sequel, Daddy's Home 2, a 6 out of 10. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think of Daddy's Home 1 and Daddy's Home 2. Did you enjoy them when you watched them? And of course, I will be back with loads more content on the channel very, very soon.